What is going on, everyone? Coming at you with some more One Piece gameplay. Two decks that, again, we haven't featured super often on the channel. Kuro against Law. And I did see how well Kuro did in all of the regionals. And I figured, why not give it a shot? Why not play it out, see how it does? This deck is extremely good against Law and Zoro. So it's something fun to play if you are looking for a new deck to try out. And it absolutely torches Law. So Law player's going to go ahead and play a Bonnie, and then we're going to get 2 Dawn and pass here. Nothing to really play on our turn, unfortunately. No Nami in hand. They're going to go ahead and activate their Bonnie here to search their top 5, and they're going to reveal a Luffy here, and they're going to add that to their hand. Luffy is, I think, a card that, coming back in favor now. We're going to go ahead and use a Punk Gibson from our hand to protect on that Law swing. We have everything that we need in our hand right now, so there's no point in giving Law anything. We're going to go ahead and we're going to play a Bucci to pop the Bonnie here. Bucci is a good card, especially if you can play him off Sham. Didn't need to play Sham and Bucci there, or didn't even have Sham. It is better when you can play them both because you get 2 bodies for the price of 1, but we will take the free Bonnie kill without having to swing over it, and then we also get to swing at life here. We do see our opponent's hand is a bit gummed up right now. Couple event cards in hand right now. We do see a Brook in hand as well. Brook is a card that people may experiment with in Law because it can play bodies. We'll see a 6k swing here at leader, and then we are going to see that Brook, and they are going to play the starter deck Zoro, which I think is still a very strong card in Law just because of the fact that you can cheat him out. We're going to see a 5k swing here at leader from the Bucci, and then another 5k swing here from the leader and then we're just going to play a Don Krieg here for pressure. Not going to use his effect obviously because there's no rested characters, but getting out a Don Krieg super early just basically says to your opponent, you have to answer this card or it's going to kill you, especially in a deck where you're running things like Django, and you're running things that can restand your leader. Having this double attacker that's fairly strong when it comes to Dawn power is extremely terrifying if you're an opponent. It basically means you have to get a blocker out, and even then blockers aren't necessarily going to save you because green has so many tools to rest them. And like if you're thinking about this like from an 8 Dawn turn perspective, it could be disastrous. So we're going to see a Brook swing here at the Bucci, and we're going to let that go. Nothing that we really want to spend to protect it. It's done its job. It's killed the Bonnie. It's gotten a swing in that life. It's done what it needs to do. Our opponent's going to go ahead and swing with the Zoro here at life, which we will opt to take. It's a Nami, and we're going to get a search off of that Nami, and let's see what we want to grab off of it. We're going to grab a Django, which basically means that our Don Krieg engine is online. We're going to see a 5k swing with Law at leader, and we're going to opt to counter out with the Hachan. Green does generally lack 2k counters, but this variation is not terrible. We're going to see Law come down here, and he's going to bounce the Zoro back to hand. And he's going to play Zoro here, and then he's going to leave 2 Dawn active. So we have a couple of different options here on what we want to do. We have 8 Dawn, and again, we can basically just force our opponent to either eat this double attack, or force them to use their Law blocker. And that could be pretty rough. So we're going to see a 5k swing at the Brook here. Basically just try to get cards out of hand and see what our opponent does. The Brook here is kind of hard for them to block for, but they're going to use their Law to block for it. And that just kind of tells me that, well, if they're going to use their Law to block here, I can basically just go to 10k with my Don Krieg and force them to use like 2 cards from hand if they have an event, because they're leaving a Punk Gibson up. And we're going to pay 5 for a Django, and we're going to restand, and we're going to swing again with the Don Krieg here, and that's going to go through for both attacks. Yes, they're able to keep their board intact, but they have no life left, and they're staring down, at least a large amount of attacks next turn. And the thing about, Kuro is his innate ability. You can use your characters to rest your opponent's characters as well. So Law has a tough time dealing with this because it's a 5 cost or less, and so Kuro being able to hit those 5 costs, which usually is the top end that Law plays, feels really bad for them. And if they're not going to kill this Krieg, it's going to just be more problems for them. So I mean, at most, they can flood the board, they can use their leader effect at this point, they can put some blockers out if they need to, but they're looking pretty dire. So they're going to swing the Brook at the Nami. Nami's going to go down. That's okay. Don't need to protect it. And we do see a fair bit, you know, of cards in hand on my side, playing Krieg. Since I didn't have to use its effect to pop something, it was awesome. And, you know, like, even just playing it down, it's putting so much pressure on the board, even if it didn't get its effect off, so it's still a great card. If you're ever in a position where you can just play it, just play it, right? So my opponent here is going to just load up their Zoro here, and I'm going to counter out of that to protect my Krieg, because, again, I want to force all of their attention into it. And because I know that I have cards in hand that I can use to rest my opponent's blockers. I know that I have things like Kurobi in hand, as you can see. So again, just kind of baiting them to like kind of have to go all in on my Krieg is the goal here. They might play down a couple of like 1-drops, which is completely fine. If they want to use their leader effect to maybe restand the Zoro, or just to play the restand Lotus Swing again if they have to. They feel like they might, in this situation, they probably have to just to do that. So we're going to see the Dodon come down, and it's going to grab a Chopper. So that's going to be a card that we love to have in hand. And so our opponent probably is going to load down on blockers here. So they're going to play a Chopper, and then they're going to pop their Dodon they just played to play another Chopper. And then they're going to pass turn without swinging. Again, they don't want to hit a Punk Gibson in life, because that basically just means game over. Now, in hand, things like Geen will be pretty punishing here. And that's the thing, is that, like, yes, Law can get a lot of value out, but we've only seen the 1 search. Well, 2 searches now with the Donna and Bonnie, so it's possible, like, we know that there's a Luffy in hand here, so they're going to use the Chopper on the first swing to block. We're going to swing again with 6, see what they're going to do. They're going to use a 2k to block. And at this point, you know, we can just kind of swing big here. So we'll swing 9 at leader here. Again, force out another block from their hand, from their field, basically. And they're going to opt to block that with the Chopper. And then we're going to pay 5 for a Krieg, and we're going to pop the Brook and the Zoro here, pitching the Kurobi. Could have gone probably a bit more aggro, but the thing is like this Krieg just kind of, like, we just cleared all of their board. And so now they have to basically fully rebuild, and they just have 1 character on board. So instead of going hyper aggressive and trying to just win the game there, we decide, you know, okay, let's just kill everything, and then we have 3 huge threats on board, and our opponent has 1 card on the field. And yes, they could do things with Law, but they're basically gonna have to blow their entire hand to refill their board. And so at this point, we're feeling very, very confident. We only have 2 cards in hand, but with the cards, you know, on the field, they basically have to kind of go in on swinging at them with their leader and maybe getting some cards out to pop them. And they're kind of awkward, you know, power values, right? So we have 6,000, 7,000. So we're going to see a 6k swing at life here, which we're going to opt to take from the leader. And then it looks like they're just going to ignore our board a little bit here and just try and go as aggressive as possible. So we're going to see a Zoro come down, and we're going to see a 6k swing, and we're going to counter out of that one with an Izo. We do see our opponent only has like 4 cards in hand at this point, and we know that one of them is like a Rush Luffy, which they're going to cast at swing at life with, and then they're going to swing at leader again with the Law, and then they're just going to give it up because that's game, and you know, no chance for the Law to come back against Kuro. Really rough matchup, but thanks so much for tuning in, and until next time, Monty out.